Make sure you never miss another upload by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the little bell to enable notifications, hitting the check mark, save, and remember if you enjoyed the video to quickly leave a like. Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Doing great as always, because it is great to do, and welcome. Hope you guys are having a beautiful Saturday as always. And today I am coming at you with a bit of a deck profile. So if you don't know, I am part of the Yugioh Redemption / Rise of the Dragon Lord / Prodigies. Prodigies is my series. Yugioh RP, the Minecraft Yugioh Roleplay. And a lot of you were in the comments asking for a deck profile, so I'm going to go ahead and do a deck profile for you guys on the deck that I'm currently running. And remember, this is just at the beginning of the season. This is what the current finalized deck is for the start of the season. It was a little bit different than this. I'm sure you guys have noticed, and you guys will notice the fact that it was definitely a little bit different than this. However, this is the current version that they said is okay for me to run. So I don't know. It's just, some people are like, there's certain types of cards that I don't want in there. There's certain cards that you need to put in there that should have been in there to begin with. So anyways, all of that aside, let's go ahead and get into it. If you don't know, I run a junk archetype deck, a junk and stardust warrior junk archetype. So a combo mix, but my extra deck is mostly consisting of junk warriors and junk based cards and stuff like that, and synchro monsters. So my deck specifically relies a lot on your extra deck and using the effects of certain monsters to bring out your extra deck cards very, very quickly and very rapidly. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start off with Quick Draw Synchron. It's an amazing card, really, really simple. Its effect goes like such as you can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. You can substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner for a Synchro summon. So I can use it as a Synchron card for a Synchro summon, which is important, but the main effect is its first one, and coupled with something like Quibbled Hedgehog, it is extremely, extremely strong because of Quibbled Hedgehog's effect, which is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You must control a tune monster to activate and resolve this effect. So really, really awesome, because you Quick Draw Synchron, you send your Quibbled Hedgehog to the graveyard, you special summon your Quick Draw Synchron, you bring Quibbled back to the field, and then you Synchro Summon for something like Junk Archer or Junk Berserker, because those are your level 7s. And if you want to even go higher, you can Level Eater and probably go down to Stardust Assault, or Stardust Charge, or I think Gardener, as well as level 6. So yeah, you can also level eat, but I'll go ahead and get into level eater and his effect in a little bit. But on top of that, in that turn, you still have yet to normal summon, and that's a really, really powerful tool. And I guess the other one too, so you Synchro Summon, and you can couple it with a Synchron Explorer, and you can bring out 2 Synchro monsters, level 7, very, very, very quickly in one turn. So the deck is very, very strong. It does rely on getting a solid draw in your first turn, though. Yeah. So that's your Quick Draw Synchron. This is one of the cards that I will use the most, and you guys have noticed that I use the most, along with this guy, Junk Synchron, which is another tuner type monster. And it says when this card is normal summon, you can select level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard, then special summon it in face up defense position, and then that monster's effects are negated. So again, you Quick Draw Synchron, you send Quibble to the graveyard, you Synchro Summon using him, and then you can probably, I think, yeah, I'm supposed to do much action all this effect. Okay, actually, I guess you couldn't do that again. But anyways, you could do a lot of stuff too, right? So you could Quick Draw Synchron into Quibble. If you have something else in your graveyard already, so not a turn 1, obviously. So maybe you have like the Synchron Explorer in your graveyard, right? You can bring him back to the field and do a level 5 summon for one of the staple monsters of the deck, which I'll get into when we go into the extra deck, of course. Sangan, pretty common card. It just allows me to draw a card when or add a specific type of monster with 1500 or less attack, and I think actually every single one of my cards has 1500 or less attack, so I can literally add any monster in my deck to my hand that's not from the extra deck, obviously. Junk Forward, and that's specifically when Sangan is destroyed, by the way, and sent to the graveyard, specifically sent to the graveyard. So Junk Forward, pretty solid card as well. If I control no monsters, I can special summon this card straight from my hand, and that counts as a no normal summon, meaning I can special summon and then normal summon like Junk Synchron, or Quick Draw Synchron, and then use his effects still special summon. It's crazy the kind of combos you can do with this deck. So for example, what I like to do a lot of times is a Junk Forward into a Junk Synchron and bring out a Junk Gardener because it's a solid defense monster. And then hopefully I'll have a Quick Draw Synchron and a Quillbolt in my hand as well. That'd be the perfect draw for me, honestly. And then I can bring out an attack-based monster like Junk Archer or Junk Berserker. And those are two very solid cards to bring out on turn 1. Dandelion, it's a sort of a stall card. It's I can use it as a level 3 as well if I need to. But if this card's into the graveyard, I get to summon some fluff tokens in defense position. So it's a stall card. Cool Hedgehog I've already talked about. Synchron Explorer is a sort of card that I like to use a lot of times to rebound when I'm like decking or bricking my deck really badly. So bricking is basically when you're not drawing what you need and you can't do anything. You're kind of just continually stalling your hands as much as possible. But Synchron Explorer is a really solid card to kind of reverse that and bring it right back. So, you know, I like to Synchron Explorer into Quick Draw or Junk Synchron, and then, you know, or even, I guess, like, you know, if you can, Junk Anchor, even if you just need a tuner monster, really. So yeah, or I guess it has to be, sorry, it has to be one of these two. Sorry, because of its effect, of course. You can select a Synchron monster in a graveyard or something. So if you need a tuner monster, you have your Quick Draws and your Junks, and those are the cards you're going to use almost all the time for tuning for this deck. Junk Anchor is a really solid card. It allows me to substitute this card for any one Synchron tuner monster. So for any of these specifically require a Synchron, like say Junk Berserker needs Junk Synchron, I can actually use Junk Anchor as well. And then once per turn, I can discard a card and then target a 1 non-tuner Junk monster in my graveyard, so Junk forward. And that's actually the only other Junk monster that's non-tuner that I have in my hand. And special summon that target. If you do immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster that lists a Synchron monster as a tuner. So yeah, really, really, really strong. And let's say as a tuner, using that monster in this card only. So these synchro materials are banished instead of being sent to the graveyard. So I don't even need level 8 or 7 because I can use these cards to instantly summon one of these guys. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I haven't had a chance to use Junk Anchor yet, and it's a card that I haven't had much use with in the past. So yeah. Sonic Chick, solid stall card. If a monster has 1900 plus attack, it cannot be destroyed, and the only way to beat it, like this, its stall abilities, is with piercing damage or having a monster with less than 1900 attack. Tuningware, another utility-based card for synchro summoning. Card can be treated as a level 2 monster when used for synchro summon, and if this card is sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon, I get to draw a card. So I am, you know, imagine I have Junk Synchron and Tuningware. I can use Tuningware to summon Junk War, which is one of the staple cards for the deck, of course. And then I get to draw a card even after that. So solid card. Level Leader. This card is in your graveyard. You can target a level 5 or higher monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card. This face-up card in the field cannot be tributed except for a tribute summon. So, yeah. Basically, Level Leader is really strong because sometimes Junk Synchron or Quick Draw Synchron is a higher level than I need, or I guess this would be just Quick Draw Synchron. I'm sorry, level 5 or higher. So sometimes Quick Draw Synchron is a higher level than I need, or if I even want to use one of these guys to synchro summon, then I can definitely use them. So imagine I have, you know, I have, what can I do here? Junk Warrior and Junk Gardener, right? Maybe. I guess not. I mean, I guess it'd be Formless Synchron and Junk Destroyer would go into Stardust. But, yeah, I mean, imagine that I need to summon something that's a little bit smaller, or I need a cost that is smaller. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I guess maybe even Junk Anchor would be a good one. So, pretty standard stuff, honestly. Yeah, Level Leader, it just takes level away from your monster. Stardust Xiaolong, I'm not going to touch these guys because they're not useful, and same with Majestic Dragon, they're not useful right now. Scapegoat, another solid stall card, is also a tuner monster. It's a level 1 tuner monster, in fact, which is super helpful to me when I need to, when I need a really simple level 1 tuner, I guess. Jet Synchron, specifically used to synchro summon Jet Warrior, which is a really strong card. So let's go ahead and read Jet Synchron's ability. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 1 Jet Synchron effect per turn and only once that turn. Yes. So I can't Jet Synchron many times, basically. So So yeah, that's basically it for as far as the monsters go. Your normal monsters, at least. 1 for 1, I get to send a monster from my hand and special summon level 1 from my deck and hand. Pretty simple. Double summon, I can do 2 normal summons and sets this turn. Machine assembly line, all machine type monsters on the field gain 2 attack, and each time you face a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, place 2 junk counters on this card. You can send this card to the graveyard, then target 1 machine type monster in your graveyard whose level is less than or equal to the number of junk counters that were on this card. So, I mean, imagine I have, I don't know, 10 junk counters, and then I, get rid of the machine assembly line, and then I can special summon Stardust Warrior if he's in the graveyard. Yeah, basically that's machine assembly line. It's pretty solid. It's a counter-based card. Pot of Greed, pretty explanatory. Lightning Vortex, discard a card and destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Really solid combo with Quillbolt Hedgehog. I found if you can send Quillbolt Hedgehog to the graveyard, of course his effect is more useful in the graveyard. So it's actually only useful in the graveyard. Monster Reborn, you get to target a monster in either play graveyard, special summon it. Starlight Junction is a new one that you guys haven't seen on camera yet. You can tribute 1 tuner monster and special summon a synchro monster from your deck with a different level than the tributed monster on the field. During your opponent's turn, if you special summon a synchro monster from your extra deck, target 1 card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. You can only use the effect of Starlight Junction once per turn. And Starlight Junction combos with Formula Synchron, because Formula Synchron is all about synchro summoning on your opponent's turn. So we'll go ahead and get into him in a little bit. But these 2 cards combo together very nicely. Tuning, add a synchron monster from your deck to the hand, but then I have to send the top card of my deck to the graveyard. Self-explanatory. Scrap Fist is a junk warrior specific spell card, and it gets all of these little effects. So when an opponent opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent, double any battle damage your opponent takes. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and destroy the opponent's monster that battled at the end of the damage step. Lots of effects, lots of stuff happening. It's crazy. Scrap Fist, an amazing card, and can absolutely turn the game around with Junk Warrior. So, solid card. Quaking Mirror Force is now the only Mirror Force in my deck. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, change all attack position monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. And they cannot change their battle positions, but they can be tributed, I think, unless you can't tribute face down monsters. I don't remember. But yeah, anyways, Dimensional Prison, pretty straightforward. Opponent's monster declares an attack, banish that target. Scrambled Egg is to help bring out Sonic Chick. So if I take a monster is controlled by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, I get a special summon a Sonic Chick from my hand, deck, or graveyard even. So Scrambled Egg, super solid. Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, activate only when you take battle damage from your opponent's monster's direct attack. Reveal 1 level 1 monster in your hand, special summon it from your hand, and 1 monster with the same name from your deck. When an opponent's spell or trap card is activated, this is Dark Bribe, pretty straightforward. Negate. It's a spell or trap card negation. But they also get to draw a card. Scrap Brian Statue. When a spell or trap card that is already face up on the opponent's side of the field activates its effects, destroy that card. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a junk monster in my graveyard and special summon it in defense position, and it can only use each of the effects of Scrap Iron Statue once per turn. And Scrap Iron Scarecrow, basically the same as Scrap Iron Statue, except it's just specifically for attacks. It's an attack negate. You flip it negates the attack, flip it back over, and instead of sending it to the graveyard. So yeah, that's basically it for as far as the base deck goes. Let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. Starting with Formula Synchron. Again, combos with Starlight Junction very nicely, because it's about synchro summoning on your opponent's turn. So when this card is synchro summoned, you can draw 1 card. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. This is a quick effect. So yes. Whew. Anyways, Junk Synchro, Formula Synchron, Starlight Junction, insane, because then I get the special summon a synchro monster from my deck, my extra deck, and target a card of the field, shuffle it into the deck. Yeah, crazy. Junk Warrior, this is the staple card of the deck probably, because of obviously Junk Warrior and Scrap Fist. That combo is insane. So it needs a Junk Synchron and a tuner monster. A non-tuner monster, excuse me. If this card is synchro summoned, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all level 2 or lower monsters you currently control. So imagine I, get Junk Warrior out on the field. I can, and I have a Junk Synchron. He gets all of the attack from Junk Synchron as well, so he gets a solid 1300 boost. So pretty solid combo is having a level eater in your graveyard, quick draw synchron, quick draw synchron, level eater, send the level eater to the graveyard, bring out tuning ware because you special summon quick draw synchron, and then use level eater's effect, bring quick draw synchron down by a level, so it's now to level 4 using tuning ware and quick draw synchron, synchro summon junk warrior to the field, and make sure you also normal summon junk synchron first, of course, and then synchro summon junk warrior. He gets a ton of attack, and then use junk warrior's effect as well. You know, and then synchro summon with him. It's just utterly insane, because then you can bring tuning ware, I think, back to the field. No, the way it would work. But anyways, yeah, insane, completely insane. Junk Gardener, super solid defense monster, absolutely amazingly solid defense monster. Once per turn, you can select a monster your opponent controls and change its battle position at any point in time in the turn. And by it's my turn or their turn, doesn't make a difference. And yeah, and this is the card sent from the field to the graveyard. You can select one monster in the field and change its battle position. So once more, change its battle position. So if it has a double attack, if your opponent has a monster that can attack twice, solid way to defend against that is using Junk Garden. If he's destroyed, oh well, he's not going to attack twice. So there you go. Jet Synchron, of course, you have to use Jet Warrior. You have to use Jet Synchron to bring him out and a non-tuner monster. If this card is synchro summon, you can target one card in your opponent's controls and return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one level 2 or lower monster. Special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field, and you can only use each effective Jet Warrior once per turn. Stardust Charge Warrior. Tuner monster and a non-tuner monster. When this card is synchro summoned, you can draw one card once. You can only use this effective Stardust Charge Warrior once per turn. This card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. So it can attack multiple times per turn if they're all special summon monsters. Super solid because a lot of monsters in newer decks are, well, special summoned. So really, really good way to combat that. Stardust Assault Warrior. When this card is synchro summoned, while you control no other monsters, you can target one junk monster in my graveyard and special summon it. You can only use this effect of Stardust Assault Warrior once per turn. If this card attacks a defensive position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. A beautiful, beautiful card. Really, really good to use. So yes. Junk Archer. Junk Synchron and a non-tuner monster once per turn. You can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it, so completely, utterly banish it. During the end phase of this turn, return it to your opponent's side of the field in the same battle position. So what I like to do with Junk Archer a lot, I'm sure you noticed, is if they have a really strong monster in the field that I can't get through currently, I like to banish it. And especially if it has any form of equip on it or anything like that, when you banish it, those equips go to the graveyard. They don't go to the banish zone with the monster and they don't come back. So if they have equipped a lot of spell cards to that monster, or they've equipped any other monsters to that monster, those are going to get destroyed. So really solid way to mess with equips and then keep that monster from getting destroyed though. And Junk Berserker, another solid one. You can banish one junk monster from your graveyard and target a face-up monster your opponent controls. That target loses attack equal to the banished monster's attack. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, destroy that monster. So it is it'll always destroy a monster, and it also can really lower the attack of a monster, and it has a solid 2700 attack to begin with. So pretty intense card, and I really like Junk Berserker. Unfortunately, I don't get to use him a lot because he's always destroyed when I start to use him. Yeah, so that's Junk Berserker. Junk Destroyer, another really amazing card. It's an 8-star. It requires a Junk Synchron and a non-tuner monster. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target cards in the field up to the number of non-tuner monsters used for the synchro summon of this card and destroy those targets. So a lot of the times to bring a Junk Berserker, I'll use a Junk Forward along with a Junk Synchron. So I'll special summon Junk Forward, go into a Junk Synchron, bring out a Tuning Ware or a Cobalt Hedgehog if I can, or a Synchron Explorer. Synchro summon Junk Destroyer, and then I get to destroy 2 cards and on the field. So yeah, because I've only used 2 non-tuner monsters to do that. But you can also bring out, if you can manage to bring out 2 Tuning Wares and destroy up to 3 cards. So it's a really intense way to kind of clear your opponent's field pretty nicely. And then so far the top card in my deck that I haven't even gotten a chance to use it because it requires a tuner synchro monster and a non-tuner synchro monster, and I believe that's called Excel Summoning or Excel Synchro Summoning. But during either player's turn, if your opponent would special summon a monster, you contribute this card, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Yes, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this face-up card you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, I can special summon a level 8 or lower warrior synchro monster from my extra deck, and the special summon is treated as a synchro summon. So yeah, a lot of interesting effects. Stardust effects specifically. Obviously, you know, destroying a, you know, monster, negating a summon is important. Obviously, it doesn't negate a card effect necessarily like Stardust Dragon does, but it can negate a summon, and then it goes into the graveyard, and at the end phase, it could also get special summon right back to the field. So another level, you know, sort of raid buff style monster on the field. Pretty tough to destroy. So yeah. Anyways, that's basically it for the entire deck for now. It's going to get better and different as time goes on. I already have, like, I think the end game deck built, but I'm not going to show it to you guys just yet. I'm going to show it to you guys at the end of the season. So I'll do an updated deck profile by the time of the end of the season comes around. So anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will talk to you in the next video, and peace.